The best part was when Vic and I got together and we got to be us and we were metalheads and we just got to do our thing. It felt natural and it felt organic. The Ascension was what built the tag team division. There was no tag teams that were there at that point. We had to build that division during that time and create these teams. We were looked at as these two entities that were like important, but yet we were overlooked. The Road Warriors are the Road Warriors, man. We needed to just be us. The comparison was absolute dog shit in my persona and the way I see things.
Can you take us back to the night, because talking about those comparisons, wild moments, the Ascension, the New Age Outlaws, what is that moment like for you guys in there with those huge teams?
Good.
I mean, it was...
Rewind, recap, relive. Whoa! That's what the world is watching.
I'm so happy to be joined by my guests today. Between the two of them, they've left victims in NWA, TNA, WWE, where they are still the longest reigning NXT tag team champions of all time. We're heading back to the Wasteland today. Please welcome Viktor and Big Kon, the Ascension.
Thanks for having us, Jonah.
Yes, thank you for having us, man.
No, absolutely. I mean, and Kon, for you, welcome back. You were on this show, kind of it's in its infancy stages. That was COVID time, so we had fun back then.
That was a long time ago, man.
It was, yeah. No, a lot's changed since then. When is the last time you guys have seen each other, you and Vic?
Oh, Jesus. Vic, you want to answer that question?
I think the last time we saw each other was when we worked the
Your
Hardys.
birthday? It was your birthday.
No, we still did a bunch after my birthday.
Oh, yeah.
Like it's been like 3 years or something.
3
like
years.
That. But I think that was the last time. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been I'm actually excited to actually be a part of this. It's been forever, man.
yeah, it's been a while. A lot of life happened in a blink of an eye, that's for sure.
You ain't lying, bro. You ain't lying.
So is that the last time you teamed together, you faced the Hardys?
Yes. I think so, right? Yeah, because we did Rock and Roll and then the Hardys.
Faced, yep.
So
that's awesome. When I spoke to you, Kon, I know you guys were doing the Awakening. Right? As instead of the Ascension was the Awakening. So you guys faced the Hardys. Was there any other big matches the Awakening had? Or was that more of just did COVID kind of put an end to that?
I mean, I felt like most of the matches we had during that time were actually pretty cool. There was only like a few times we kind of worked younger, like student-like people, or guys that just maybe weren't. I don't know how popular they were or whatever, like elsewhere to be known of. But it doesn't mean that they weren't good. Like I remember we worked that team in New York that one time, and I couldn't tell you. Like I know I've still seen them on Instagram, but I can't tell you what their name was. And the two of them were awesome. And they were obviously really liked wherever we were. I can't remember which company it was. You know what I mean? But like there was nobody that was like stinkers that I remember to work with. Yeah. Everybody was really good, but I remember like that whole time, like we got to work the feud with the Headbangers, which was a lot of fun. We did work Rock and Roll at Outlaw.
That was in New York too.
Yeah. Yeah. So, like, I mean, we had a bunch of cool ones like that. So, it was, yeah.
That's awesome. It sounds like a bunch of dream matches. You guys were just kind of checking off a bucket list almost.
A little bit, yeah.
I think so. Like we were having some fun.
What the Ascension do? Yeah. Well, I mean, you guys both have really interesting journeys before the Ascension even starts, getting to WWE. Viktor, I don't know how many people are aware. You are the official last student of the Hart family dungeon.
I guess technically, yeah, of the actual house dungeon. I mean, Natty and TJ still have the dungeon 2.0 now, which they have amazing talent at that I've seen go through. But yeah, I like other than Harry as well, right? Like Harry's still actively working, and I mean, there's still one more guy, Randy Myers, I think, on the west coast of Canada. and a little bit. I think he still goes into Portland. I'm not too sure. But he was kind of from the dungeon, like not quite as long as me, but he was still. I couldn't. If he's out there still working, I still have to say that they're still working.
Right.
I can't not give somebody credit because I know how bad that sucks when you don't get it.
Oh, definitely. Give him that credit. I think you said it was Bruce Hart. Was he the head trainer when you were there?
Yeah, so it was Bruce for most part, and then Ross as well. Both totally different in the ring and mindsets to work with, but which was perfect to set you up for the wrestling business. But then too, like a couple of years in, I got picked up by an older Japanese trainer that really kind of like honed everything. But I mean, I got really lucky because there's so many different levels to professional wrestling, and I think when you first start, you miss a lot of them because you're too busy like just taking bumps and taking in like being around these people that like maybe you grew up watching or finally getting into the business can all be kind of overwhelming. And Calgary was so fucking wild of just like the ribs that you'd see pulled and the life around the hearts was always interesting. Like the cast of characters and like the amount of people. Like when I first started, the first year I was in the dungeon, there was 100 kids that came and went
Wow.
easily. And I mean, the cast of characters was just unending. Like Harry used to always really befriend the weirdest of the weird to get into it, and it was just like wacky to take in. Like it was a fun place. I mean, I there's just and it's fun too because like starting off in Calgary, everywhere that I went in wrestling, there was always like, especially like to like Europe or Japan or places like that. There was guys that knew Bruce and had stories of like being in Stampede. It eventually tied a lot together because Bruce used to train us all by giving us examples of when people used to try to hurt him when he
Wow.
would wrestle. And so then I would find out later why these people tried to hurt them because I usually wound up working them down the line somewhere. And it kind of added up. It all made
It
sense.
made
So,
sense.
yeah. Yeah. Bruce was ruthless with his ribs. Like they were only funny for Bruce. You know what I
Right.
mean? And a lot of the times they were to people that like you probably shouldn't have been trying to rib. So
Yeah. No, but I mean, what a way to end a wrestling feud, though, in surrounded by people like that.
yeah.
Con, you first started your journey with WWE like way back in 2005. Another thing I'm not sure if people are too aware of. Who was that Con walking in with just like 4 years under your belt, I think, at that point to WWE?
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't like a big name or anything like that. I think I was just solely based off of my look at that time. I was a young kid, abs, tall, spiky hair. It just worked out in my favor. But I spent 4 years on the independents, and I think I was just talking about this today. When I got in, it was just kind of for me, it was kind of who I knew. And at the time, Angel Orsini was tight with Tommy Dreamer.
Oh, okay.
And so I told her one day, I was like, hey, I really want to go into, to WWE, get into the developmental system, whatever I got to do to get there. But how do I get there? I don't want to just send tapes to anybody and everybody. And so she said, just send them to Tommy. And she gave me the address and everything that went specifically to him. And that was, kind of how that came about for me. And, I don't have like an incredible story at that point, other than the fact that Sergeant Slaughter found me. That was how I got into the
I always
business.
thought that was
But
pretty cool.
yeah,
When you told me that, I was like, man, that's fucking sweet.
I was, yeah, I was sitting there, I'm doing landscaping for the guy. And I'm like, my buddy's like, hey man, you'll never believe whose house this is. And I was like, I really don't give a shit as long as my check gets cashed. And that was all that mattered at that point. And then, I was a big G.I. Joe fan. And then, at that time he came walking out, my mouth dropped to the ground. And I was just like, holy crap, this is Sarge. And he's, at that time I wanted to get into the XFL, which now I'm really showing my age, back in 2000, 99. And he's like, have you ever thought about getting into professional wrestling or becoming a professional wrestler? And I was like, honestly, no. I never thought about it, but wrestling always bonded my family because we always got the pay-per-views, and it would be an all-out fight between my cousins and me and my uncles. And like, it was just, there was just like a battle of testosterone for the most part. But it always gave me that camaraderie and that bond of family. And so, I gave it a shot, and I met a gentleman by the name of Rusty Brooks, who has passed sadly, but he trained Gangrel, and that was kind of how my whole thing started, was because of that.
Wow, that landscaping job. Those are those just core moments in our lives, I guess, right? That we don't realize how important they're going to be.
Yeah, I mean, I was just happy to make a payday at that point,
Yeah.
and pay for my cell phone bill probably.
And then it turns to be Sergeant Slaughter. And I know, during that time, I think you were doing some work with that WWE ECW brand, right? Was that a result of the Tommy Dreamer connection?
Yes, yes. He was in charge of talent relations at that point,
Okay.
and he was also doing shows during that time as well. Um, and I was wrestling. I was tagging with the guy by the name of Derek Nightkirk at that point.
Hmm.
And so, we were wrestling like Guido and Tony Mamaluke,
Yeah.
Dreamer, and whoever was, I think it was Sabu at that time. And so we were just happy to be on, the brand, at that point. So it was wild, but it was fun, what I
Yeah.
mean? But that was kind of how the ECW experience went for me. It was just Chuck Palumbo, whatever. They just threw me in there.
Yeah.
Bob Holly, I was like, whatever.
Was Balls
Like,
Mahoney there around that time too?
Balls was there.
Oh,
Yeah. And
yeah.
let me tell you something, that crazy bastard was awesome. He was so cool as a human being, man.
I hear so many funny stories about Balls Mahoney.
Yeah.
So definitely a wild guy. Does that lead to the crazy character I heard that you got pitched by Vince McMahon of Ryan Allen Templeton, I think it was?
No, that is
Oh,
not how the rat came about.
oh, it's not. Okay.
No. So Fit Finley was the whole reason behind that. So Fit was an agent with me for, a good part of my being on the road in 2007. And he told me, he's like, you look like a rat. And I was like, well, that's kind of messed up. And he told Johnny Ace that at that point, the same thing. And then, I had a meeting with Vince. I sat down. It was very intimidating, very uncomfortable, of course. And he was like, you like heavy metal? Or like, what kind of music do you like? And I was like, heavy metal. And he goes, oh, what kind of movies do you like? And I was like, I like horror. And he goes, oh. And I feel like I was shitting the bed the entire time. And then Johnny Ace speaks up and he goes, Fitz says he looks like a rat. And literally he goes, oh. And it was his whole persona. And he's just like, can you talk like this? And I was like, what? And he started doing this nasally conversation with me. And I was like, this is the most awkwardest thing I've ever experienced in my life. But I remember walking out that night thinking, well, I'm getting fired because I don't know what the hell just happened. And I went to the hotel room that night and I actually stuffed tissue in my nose and I started learning how to talk nasally. And so I went back in, I knocked on his door, walked in there, and I started talking in that whole dumbass, like nasally voice. And he was intrigued and he loved it. And that was how the whole Templeton thing came about. It was no one else but Fit. Fit was the one that brought it up.
Okay. Well, that's interesting. That was Finley. How far into your career are you at that point? How many years in?
I was there for a cup of coffee at that point. I want to say, like, honestly, it was 2007. I started for 2 years.
Okay.
I started in 05 with Deep South. I was on, the road in 07. I was supposed to debut. They were already putting my packages together when Kofi Kingston was there.
Oh wow, yeah. So
So
that
they were going to debut us. I was going to debut a week after all that had happened.
crazy, damn. And well, again, like cup of coffee, and you're like, finally, I have a character, and it's the Rat. Well, I don't think that
Yeah.
it never really saw the light of day, like on
No,
me.
thank God.
Thank God. Yeah. No, what we did
Yeah.
see was the Ascension, and I'd love to get into the first time you actually hear about the Ascension. Was that around like 2010 FCW?
It would have been NXT season 5.
Oh, okay.
The original.
The game show, right?
Yep, I was
Well,
doing
I
games.
always try to remember because I was there by me because Tom and I started right around the exact same time, and that
Yeah.
was in I think right at the beginning of 2011 was when we got there.
Was it 2011?
It was 2010 or 2011. I can't remember.
That sounds about right.
But yeah, it was right there because both me and Tom started right at the same time because me and a bunch
Yeah.
of the British guys and Rowan all started right around that same time.
Yeah. Yeah. That was quite an experience. Anyone that never did those NXTs were very blessed and lucky. But I remember when I got voted off. At that time, it was Bill DeMott was running that portion of it, and he told me you need to come in. And he's like, "We've got an idea for you." And I was like thinking to myself, like, why? What idea? What could there possibly be? So I came in, and it was on a Wednesday, and they showed me the entire group. And at that time, it was Ricardo Rodriguez, and he was doing this whole thing based off of chakras. And I was like, oh, okay. And I'm looking at this entire setup and I'm thinking, well, why don't you just future endeavor all of us right now? Because none of this makes sense to me. Because I was like, it's Ricardo Rodriguez, it's Shaul Guerrero, it's Orlando Colon, it's Tom Latimer, and it's me. And I was like, this just does not fit at all. It doesn't even seem normal. And we cut a promo. They were excited about it. I didn't see what they saw, and I want to say it was about 2 weeks later, Ricardo had to go out to California because at that time he was doing Dose's big announcing and everything
Right.
like that. And I remember texting him saying, hey, we got promos and we don't know what the hell we're going to do. So because this is your faction, what are we doing? And he goes, talk about the Ascension and what it means to you. And I was like, okay. So I texted everybody. I said, Ricardo hit me up, said he wants to know, let's talk about the Ascension and what it means to us. Let's hit some one-liners and let's all wear black. Like business, cash, whatever. Like, let's just, make it look professional. We went in, we did it. And when we did what we did, Dream literally walked out and he called us all into his office. And I was like, oh man, we just shit the bed. This is not good. Like, and this, this is what it is what it is at this point. So we went in there and he's like, what do you all see, baby? And he played the promo back. And I looked at him and I said, it looks like 5 rejects are about to get fired. Right. And that is just me being me. And and he looked at me and goes, no, baby, I see vampires. And I was like, what?
To the vampire, baby.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I see them vampires.
Yeah.
We can't say vampires because Vinnie Mac does not like
baby.
vampires, but I like vampires.
Yeah.
True blood.
And I'm
Blood
like,
super
I
hot.
don't know what the hell is going on. I don't know what's being talked about. And then Shaul interjects and she goes, oh, yeah, like True Blood. And he's like, yeah, baby, like True Blood. And I was like, I don't get it. I don't watch a lot of TV. So I was like, whatever. And that was kind of how the whole dark persona Ascension started with the whole gothic feel. Obviously, the best part was when Vic and I got together and we got to be us and we were metalheads and we just got to do our thing. And that was where it felt natural and it felt organic.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I think it showed through too. I'd love to, yeah, hear from you, Vic, on that. And the first time that you really hear about the Ascension, because I know you didn't join till later on.
Oh, but I saw all that happen.
You did,
Like
yeah.
I think the only thing I didn't see was whenever you guys shot the initial whatever it was with Ricardo. I think you guys did that separately or something. Because by the time you guys did it in front of everybody at promo class, because I saw you guys do one with, I swear, with Ricardo in promo class, and I was like, God damn, why didn't I get in on this shit? That looks fucking cool as fuck, you
And
know.
Norman was
And
a big proponent of having you in it too.
Norman like always was because like you know like a Ricardo was like it seemed like immediately pulled out and like things were always like happening within it, and Norman always pitched me and Dusty did not want me in it, so like that was the whole thing. And it, you know, because you guys had, man, like I mean you broke your back, like
I broke my back.
I mean yeah
everything
like
fell apart at that time. Like I broke my back. Orlando went to the main roster.
yeah
Shaw went her own way. Like it just everyone just kind of like separated.
yeah didn't
But
seem
you did a match, I believe. Not, I think it was with.
oh, I did a couple with Tom,
Yeah,
but like
and it looked really good too.
because we did the one with Tom was the Joe Maples match. I don't know if you remember a legendary.
Was it Five Staples Maples?
Yes, yeah, because it was terrible. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
terrible. Like the matches were always terrible. I mean, we did one with Joe where it was just hilarious. I mean, just great guy, disaster to work with. Um, and then we had another one with Ryan Nemeth and what was his name? Sorry, Maddox, and that was another train wreck. And it was like, wow, me and Tom were like, I don't know if we're this unlucky or like what is going on. So, but yeah, but we did. I know me and Tom after that one with Maples, and because like then we did the full like Ascension entrance and stuff like that. I remember we did, and we cut a promo in promo class, and Dream made me like do the promo like fucking 10 times in front of everybody. And it was just like a really, I can't remember why, but it was like a really like sad fucking promo. Dream just kept making me do it, and I was like, "Oh, this sucks." And at the end of it, he was like, "That was really good, but I don't see you in Ascension, baby." And he just like fucking walked off, and I was always like, "All right, like that's his thing." So you know, and even after that, like you had still come back, and Tom was gone. And you still had like the whole and like you were on NXT like doing the heavyweight title stuff, you know, during all that and going on the road. So
Yeah.
That's crazy. So, but eventually you do join the Ascension, but you joined it after it had already moved to NXT, right, Vic?
yeah, so like man, I can't remember what year that was. It's popped up a couple times in my photos, but um, oh, it was when we were filming the opening for NXT. That's what it was. Because I was filming under like just the random gear that I had because I didn't really have a character. What's that? Sorry.
Was that the day I flew in, Vic? Like I flew in.
Yes, you and Graves had
shooting.
Yeah, you and Graves had come back from the road because you guys had been going out on loops pretty frequently. I think I remember at the time. Because yeah, we'd just been filming like the cold open stuff for NXT, like where people just do like the yeah and like all that kind of shit, their poses and whatnot in front of the camera. And Chris Chambers called me over and he was like, "Hey, has anybody talked to you? Like, has Hunter talked to you?" And I was like, "Ha ha ha, good one, Chris. Like, that's funny. Has Hunter talked to me? No, of course not. Why would Hunter have talked to me?" And he's like, "Well," he goes, "Ryan just got in from the road and stuff." He goes, "But he wants to like shoot some stuff with you guys as Ascension." And I was like, "Oh, cool. That's news to me."
It's kind of
And
bot type shit.
yeah, so I was like, "Well, this is like all I have. It's just like this gear." And he goes, "That's fine." And I know, like haven't looked it up in a long time, but it used to be like a GIF of us. There was an Ascension GIF, and it was the very first thing that we ever shot together, and it's just us back to back with like the camera kind of spinning around.
Yep.
Yeah. And like that was kind of, I don't know. After that, I guess it was just off to the races.
That's
at that
it.
point. But
I don't know what kind of race it was, but we're off.
We're off. What were those
sure.
early days? We've seen what NXT has become, but like, what were those early Triple H NXT days kind of like when it was finding itself as a, you know, as a brand?
Vic. Go
I
ahead.
don't like. I guess like when I think about it, it's funny like looking back at it now because like when we were there, I don't know. I don't think any one of us thought that NXT was going to be what it is today, by any means. And I don't think it felt like it was going to be either. Like we were still at the end. It's like me and Ryan are Gen Xers, and then there's the millennials, right? And like I think we're right at the end of the Generation X, and so like we have a kind of different experience in how we were treated in wrestling compared to the generations that kind of came like that a way bit after us.
We were ruthless. There's no doubt about it.
Right.
And when I came in happy, we were like, why the hell are you so happy?
Right. Yeah. I mean, so like it's just funny to me because it, like I've said, like it always felt like every day we were fighting. Like every day you were trying to prove yourself and why we thought we were good. You know what I mean? Like you basically were fighting for your job every day you came in. And they kind of let you know that. It was kind of the game that they would always play. It wasn't like, oh yeah, we're so happy to have you here. It was like, it's nice that you're happy to be here, but we're gonna give you a bunch of shit sandwiches to eat.
And you
you're
better
gonna like it, you know.
Yeah. I have come in the past couple of years that I can agree with you on this, buddy. Like I sat back and I thought about a lot of this. And Vic can attest to this. And I was just talking about this not too long ago that every time that I walked into the office with Vic, I got my ass chewed out. If somebody messed up, it was our fault. And it was very discouraging at that point to where, you know, going back to fighting for everything, it was like, and I'll be honest and I'll be proud to say that the Ascension was what built the tag team division.
Yeah.
There was no tag teams that were there at that point. Me and Vic, and I will say this honestly, Vic especially, because he is the technician. We had to build that division during that time and create these teams. And that was frustrating. And we were looked at as these two entities that were like important, but yet we were overlooked. And that's okay. It is what it is. Like that, like me and Vic were always good about doing what we had to do. But and I'm proud to say it now, especially that we busted our ass, him and I, even if we were injured, we helped one another. And we built that damn division the best way that we could.
Yeah. We didn't get a lot of time off when we were
together. Time off. What was that like?
Yeah. Like I
remember
mean,
like, those matches, like they would literally put us on the spot and be like, can you go 30 minutes? And we're like, hell yeah, okay, we got to do what we got to do. That's fine.
Yeah. Man, I was thinking about it too. Like I remember there was the one time we had to work the primetime players in a match that was in between when they filmed like main event and SmackDown because Jerry Lawler had a heart attack that day.
Yeah.
And so they needed Byron Saxton to come back and do commentary. That. And so Saxton had landed in Orlando and had to fly back to wherever we were.
That was the dark match. Was it the dark match?
Yes, but so there wasn't a time limit for the match. The time limit was when Byron Saxton walks into Gorilla, we'll tell you guys to go home.
Yep.
So it was like this match could go 5 minutes.
20
but
minutes,
it's
5
not going to be
minutes.
5 minutes. It's probably more likely going to be 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh shit, okay.
Yeah.
You know, and it was just like, well, so how do we fill 20 minutes, guys? If we got
No,
to.
but we did it. And the best part is like, I think we were so used to being put in some of the most uncomfortable fucking positions that we did what we had to do, you know, and I can honestly say I'm proud of us for doing that, looking back at that, like, because those were not easy positions to be put in. And I think we were there for a cup of coffee at that point. Honestly, what maybe under
because we still had the shoulder pads on and everything.
Yeah. And we did what we had to do. And, you know, they give us a handshake, and then we go back and, you know, go to catering.
Insane to hear that, Jerry Lawler. I remember watching live when he had that heart attack. I mean, scary moment, but I forgot that you guys were doing that match. I mean, obviously, show had to go on, right? So,
Yep.
And you guys did that. It's a lot of pressure. But you guys did so well at so many aspects of the Ascension, like the in-ring, but also just the character building of you guys, especially in NXT. I seriously love the Ascension entrance, as I think a lot of people did. Can you guys talk about creating that in NXT and kind of how that came to be? Did Triple H have any hand in creating that, or was that all you guys?
Yeah, I can't even remember that. I feel like Hunter had everything to do with that, to be honest.
The ones that we did, yes. Because so he made me like flipping backwards at first. I can't remember when he finally let me stop doing the Bella flip in backwards, but that was the first one. I think because I can remember doing it with him one time, where like he slid in behind me to show you what he wanted you to do.
Oh,
right? Like I think he did one with both of us, where like he pretended to be.
In the ring.
Yes, because like the first time we did it at NXT, but I mean, other than that, like I know Bill and Byron Saxton spent millions of hours, like especially Saxton, over the pageantry stuff.
Yeah, man. I mean, God forbid Byron Saxton had a part of this.
Right. I mean, he was such a big part, actually, I think, at least of my character development.
He was.
I know for sure within the Ascension, it's at first. So
yeah, I mean, you guys took it from what we saw at NXT and kept it up. Like it just kept getting cooler and cooler. I feel the entrance and just the whole spectacle of the Ascension. You know, on the topic of entrances, I'm not sure where this falls on your timeline. Might have been even before you were in NXT, but I know you both, I believe, got to take part in Undertaker's WrestleMania 29 entrance, right?
Yeah, that was great. That was so awesome, right?
Yes. Yeah. Doing the rehearsal for that one, I remember we're all freezing our balls off.
Yeah. And our onesies.
Those red, like.
It was just red morph suits. Like, that's all it was. We just had that, man. I mean, what a group to do that, though. Because, too, we had to rehearse the night before where Taker wasn't there. It was just one of the tech dudes that kept coming out as Taker, who had walked down the thing. And so I always remember the night of Mania where, like, none of us had seen, like, you don't see Taker WrestleMania Day, right? Like, none of us had seen him. And all of a sudden he was just, like, there, like, at the entranceway. And it was like, oh, fuck, that's so cool.
that was wild, man. I remember we had sat there and all of us were just in those terrible get-ups. And we're just there and we're rehearsing everything, and we're like, there's no way he's showing up to this because he's not there for the rehearsal. We didn't know. Yeah. We're just like, you know.
Right.
And you remember that night, Vic, where when we did that WrestleMania for his entrance, and all of a sudden we saw his figure step in front of that light, and we're like, holy shit, he's here. Oh, my God, this is awesome.
It was such a maze to get to where that spot is, too, like even to come out.
I remember off record. I remember Brody saying, "I dare you to trip him." It's like there's no way I'm tripping Taker.
Of course, of course.
Oh my God. That was one of the coolest entrances of all time, I'd say. It
That
is.
was his best
Yeah,
entrance, from what I understand, right?
It's his
yeah,
what?
All the hands grabbing out. I
Yeah.
think that was
yeah,
one of his best entrances.
Absolutely. Yeah.
yeah.
As a
It
fan.
was cool.
How do you two actually find out that you are winning these tag titles in NXT that go on to create the longest reign that we've ever seen?
This was such a great. Go ahead, Vic. I'm gonna let you warm this one up because I remember me and you were so pissed that day.
He,
He's getting
it's like
ready.
it's like one of those things. I don't know. It's so dumb. Like after everything that we had kind of done and been doing, I guess at the time, um, it seemed like for once they weren't shitting on us. Like, but I wasn't biting. Like, and I can remember Terry trying to say something a couple times at the school, and I wasn't going to bite on it. And I feel like one of the guys that we used to film stuff with, like even Brandon, one day had said something, and we were like, "We're not biting, Brandon. Like, just get out of here." You know, I can't remember if it was him or not, but they like gave us a little, you know, put it in tease before, and I wasn't going to bite. But then we got to, I know the TV that day, and what was on the run sheet was actually that Scott Dawson and
Yeah.
Miro were
Yes.
going to win because I can't remember how it was all coming about. Like I don't remember what the situation was because I just remember us working with Corey and Neville or like Pac, because that's who we won it from. But I can't remember how that came about now when I think about it. But we probably had to have more than one match or something that day, something ridiculous, because NXT did usually film like the 4 blocks or something at that point in time. Um, so we saw that and we are like, okay, we're not going to win. Whatever. You know, like I knew that they were just fucking around with us the whole time. And then we got called to go talk with Bill and what was that guy's name from the circus? What was the circus guy's name that was the general manager of the performance center for a bit?
Shit, I don't even know. Hell,
He was literally from he was a carny. Man,
yeah, I don't even remember. God.
such a rib. Anyway, whoever that guy, he was a nice enough guy, but this just always popped me because I remember like Bill just like shit on us. Like in this meeting, like he brought us out to the ring at NXT, and he basically just sat there and like told us that everybody fucking hated us and didn't believe in us. Um, but that Hunter stood up for us in the pre-show meeting, and so Bill backed Hunter and said that like they those two them that they believed in us, that we could win the titles and carry the shit, or that they would at least give us a month
A chance.
to prove everybody wrong, type of thing.
I mean, I remember that day, Vic. Me and you sat in Full Sail. I was so pissed.
Right. Well, this was what really pissed me off. Like before this, I was like, yeah, I knew they were fucking lying. But this specific talk pissed me off because it was just the opposite of like any kind of positive reinforcement to two guys who really worked their dicks off and that the company as well is invested in, like that Bill himself had invested a lot of time in. And it just seemed really fucked up, especially the shit that they said. Like, because they used to kind of try to feud us against each other a little bit.
Mm.
But I don't feel like we ever really bit because they also wanted us to be exactly the same. And like, it was funny because at first I was supposed to be like Ryan. And then at this point in time, Ryan was supposed to be more like me. And that was kind of like the shit they used to pitch. Like even when there was something where they pitched, we were supposed to have the same beards, and that was when I grew the triple point,
Mm.
and you did something else like
Yeah.
crazy. And I can I always remember that was us rebelling. You know what I mean? Was
Yeah.
not having our beards exactly what how they said we should. And I'll never forget because Hunter was talking to us after a match, and he looked at me and he looked at you, and I saw him just kind of like look back at their beards, and then he just kind of like shrugged and he like walked inside and like went like it wasn't a thing, and we're like, okay, well, I guess our beards are fine. But yeah, like that whole thing, because then David Bailey was the guy's name. So
Oh,
after,
David Bailey.
yeah,
Yes. Yes.
so
Oh God, the
and
comic book collector.
right. So, but that was like the most insulting part of this conversation was like Bill tells us all this shit about basically what we have to do to prove that we're worth being made
This
NXT
was the
champions at
30-day
this
note.
time. And then he goes, and now David, what do you have to say to him? And David starts saying like the exact same shit that Bill just said to us, but like he has no like respectable opinion in this matter whatsoever. You know, like he'd been there for not even a smell of a cup of coffee at that point in time.
Right.
Ridiculous. So like that, I remember that was what got me hot. So that was how I remember that.
Yeah. I think for me, like we had busted our asses so much and put so
Yeah.
much in
Yeah.
and worked through injuries for sure.
Mhm.
You
Because we
know,
also like that was at a time where they had us constantly doing classes. Like
yeah,
we were still doing full classes, like there was a full lifting routine, and me and you put in extra time in ring and just doing like the pageantry or in ring stuff every day.
yep,
Like there wasn't any downtime at that point in time.
yeah. And to be told, well, for me, it was definitely like when we were being questioned that we're not doing enough, I was pissed off.
Yeah.
I remember me and you were in there and I was angry. And I was the whole fuck you point.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah.
we had busted our asses and we had done everything we could and we had been successful. And here we are being talked down to at this point. It's just you just feel underutilized at this point. Like you just feel disrespected. And
Well,
then
too,
you go into the dilemma of not being good enough to get the NXT tag team titles to, at that time, two single wrestlers. They just wanted to throw together, and they're great guys. Like it's not a shot at them, but the fact that it was disrespectful to us because we had worked so hard, we have done everything that was possible. We have gotten over. The crowd loved us. That they were going to do something against us, but luckily we had two individuals from our understandings that stood up for us. And that very night, they put the belts on us. And I'm grateful for that because that happened. But it was not originally supposed to go down that way. And that was, when I look back at that moment, it was very frustrating. But I mean, look at it. It's still to this very day, it's still the longest. It's literally the longest. We're still the longest running tag team NXT tag team, which is insane to me.
Yeah.
It's absolutely insane that we still hold the record.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like there hasn't been great tag teams that have been champs afterwards.
Well, they don't know how to tag teams don't know how to tag team.
What
It's like I always say, I was like, me and Vic, we didn't really ever travel together or anything, but we had chemistry. We knew what each other was thinking.
Yeah.
We knew how to work together.
We have a very weird psychokinetic
We had a very
bond.
weird chemistry, but it worked.
Mm-hmm.
It worked.
What is
And
it?
I loved it.
What is it that makes a good tag team, do you think, as two guys who team for so many years?
just the chemistry
And what was odd, I think, for me was that me and Vic, like, I don't know, like we just kind of knew each other within a year. Like we just knew what we were doing, what we were thinking without even talking.
well, I'd watched you a lot because like when we were all the time during the FCW stuff, like I said, I'd always wanted to be in Ascension as it was. So like I'd
Yes.
always watched all
And
the
you were
stuff, like
perfect for it.
in all the incarnations of it, and even like when Ryan was just doing his singles stuff, I was always like glued, like I was there watching every match. So it wasn't, I used to be able to meld into everything pretty easily. But like it wasn't, you know what I mean? It wasn't a hard fit, like at all.
No,
It was, if anything, it brought out more of a character in me or something that my style of wrestling matched to become the character that I really am.
Yeah.
That's the best way I can put it.
yeah, it
Um,
was organic. Bottom line, like everything
yeah.
kind of flowed. You know,
Hmm.
it just flowed. We knew what each other was thinking.
Oh, absolutely. And you guys make, is it your main roster debut at Madison Square Garden?
Yeah.
I mean, the nerves, the pressure, but also like a testament to how well you did, Vic. I think I've heard you say the crowd knew who you were at that point, right?
Yeah. I mean, it all felt like a rib too. I can't lie.
I agree with that.
I'll never forget because like they threatened to fire us at that point in time. Was that before or after I yelled at Canyon Seaman? I can't remember, but so
It's
like
so long ago.
I think it must have been after I yelled at Canyon because like so when we were because that was we so when we did that show that was right coming towards the end of our title run.
Hmm.
Yes.
And at one point when we did our I don't know quarterly reviews of talent or whatever with the higher ups, um, I got told by Canyon Seaman at the time that if we weren't brought up within the next 3 months, we were going to be fired
Yep.
because we were too basically old, or like we were too old and we'd been in developmental too long to stay there any longer.
Yeah.
And I
But
went,
that's their
huh.
fault, right? I'm pretty sure that's their fault.
Well, yeah, very much so. Because this was, I mean, I always took those reviews pretty good before this one. And I
You know,
looked
the part.
at Canyon at the time and I said, huh, that sounds like some really bullshit, bad business to me.
Yep.
And he goes, what? I said, yeah, you guys like make it, you make us somebody for all of these kids out here and everybody else to look up to. Like we're examples for the entire performance center of what all the future talent is supposed to aspire to. We've carried your tag titles for this long at NXT. We've done quite a bit doing that here in developmental with a lot of the developmental talent. And we've never been brought up for a live event, even. Meanwhile, like how many other people, like we'd had a European tour taken away from us at one point in time that we were supposed to
That
go on.
sucked.
Yeah, a ton of shit. And I said, so now you're going to tell me that if Vince doesn't get this in 3 months, so you're going to fucking fire us? I looked at Bill and I go, that sounds like some really fucking bad business to me, doesn't it to you, Bill? And Bill's like actually laughing. And he just kind of like nodded his head. And I went, so, I go, that's where I stand on that, Canyon. And then I can't remember if there was much else said after that point in time because I went and I had to do some rehab because I was Canyon came and found me just as I got in the cold tub, which is also the worst time ever to find me because I hate being cold, and started apologizing, saying that it wasn't his view that he was trying to give me, so don't be mad at him. You know what I mean? Like don't kill the messenger type of thing. And I was like, yeah, fuck off, Canyon.
Yeah, absolute bullshit.
Yeah. So I mean, he's a funny story, and I don't actually mean to to say anything bad about the guy. Like, how
Yeah.
many random executives get brought into a world of professional wrestling? Like, my favorite thing is, hey guys, you hear Canyon Ceman's going to be here today? So our late friend Kevin Nickel used to fucking rib everybody and say that at the beginning of every fucking live event and NXT event and show and time you would ever see him at a wrestling event. Yeah.
When is it and why do you think they start comparing you guys to like Road Warriors and Demolition once you get to the main roster? Because that seemed like a, an immediate hard thing to live up to for you guys. A lot of like impossible, you know?
I will never understand that comparison. I don't get it because other than the fact that me and Vic were dominant and we were rolling across people and kicking ass and doing what we do, I like to think that we were better technicians than, obviously certain tag teams. But the fact that you can't compare anyone to the Road Warriors. Like, the Road Warriors are the Road Warriors, man. Demolition's Demolition. Powers of Pain are Powers of Pain. Like, those guys etched themselves in history. And we needed to just be us. And I don't know if it's just me sitting back after all these years looking at it now, but I'm just like, the comparison, there was no comparison. There should never have been a comparison. Even Dream told us, he was like, you are not the Road Warriors. You are not, Demolition. You are the Ascension. And that's what you need to be. And I don't know. I didn't understand it at that time. For me personally, what he was trying to explain. I mean, I thought he would be happy just to get our old asses out of there at that point. But, looking back at it now, it's like you cannot compare those guys.
Yeah.
Nobody can. It doesn't matter who the hell you are. You cannot compare. Those guys are etched in history. Me and Vic, that wasn't fair to us because me and Vic were trying to do our thing and who we are. And we were trying to do our thing and make it our way. And it just the comparison was absolute dog shit in my persona and the way I see things now, especially. It wasn't the right thing. They should never have done that. But that was what they did. And we had to eat, as Vic would say, shit sandwiches, and we had to enjoy it.
I think, it's one of those things like Vince only understands what like Vince understands type of thing. Like, I remember one time trying to pitch something to him, and like the idea of like I had to give him something that I knew he'd already know as kind of like the example. And like I remember like when I did like his reaction, like he did pop because I'm like, okay, I wasn't wrong. You know what I mean? So like I think that's just why to him, like that was what his take was on us at the time. Like somebody had kind of like probably just said that to him. And so like whenever he watched, I don't know, whatever NXT takeover it was,
He
granted,
saw
us,
a fucking elevator.
yeah. So
That's how he fell in love with us, because he saw one of our pay-per-views on an elevator.
right. That's
I remember that. I was like,
about
what?
that.
He
Yeah.
watches that going up to the third or fourth floor? Like, what?
Yeah.
That's insane. Can you take us back to the night? Because talking about those comparisons, I think it's mentioned during this interaction, but wild moments, the Ascension, the New Age Outlaws, the NWO, and the APA. What is that moment like for you guys in there with those huge teams?
Not good.
I mean, it was, yeah, I've got, it's kind of crazy. So I look at things like this for me specifically. Like, they trusted us to be in there with those guys specifically. And it helped me and Vic, even though they did what they did, it gave us a little bit of acknowledgement of who we were.
Mm-hmm.
But it could have been probably written a little better, to be honest with you. But
But
It
I mean,
it
the
was just
writers were
one
so
of those things
happy.
where we were in there with a bunch of legends, and I think at that point we didn't have an option, but we were excited at the same time.
Yeah. I just remember the writers were so happy with every segment that we did at that point in time. And I mean, it was very cool um, to get to do what we did with those guys. Don't get me wrong.
Absolutely.
It just didn't, it's weird, like, because did we, uh, now I can't remember how it all, because when we beat the Outlaws at the Royal Rumble, I can't remember if that was the last thing or if when we got beat down by everybody was the last thing. Because I feel like that's all people really remember is just that. So, but I just can't remember which one happened first, I guess.
It was I definitely remember that it was that whole integration of Ron Simmons coming out and JBL, the big clothesline that you took, and all this, and it led up to
And that
the
led up to the Royal
Outlaws that
Rumble, right?
we beat the
Right,
Outlaws.
right.
And I remember thinking to myself, like, oh, this is great. Me and you were on a high at that point. We're like, this is awesome.
Yeah, yeah. So like that was the odd thing because I feel like more people just remember all the legends beating us up, and I always see that come up on YouTube.
No, but we Royal Rumble, like, we pinned Road Dogg because I think Road Dogg did that cross body on my face and almost he gave me a concussion practically.
Yeah.
You guys cross paths with so many legends on that run, though. I feel like it's like you're saying, Vic, it's not talked about enough. Like your first big main roster pay-per-view is that Royal Rumble with the New Age Outlaws.
Yeah.
You know, NXT, I think your first defense is against Too Cool, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
I think,
Yeah.
yeah, so you guys definitely you were in there with some huge names along that run. But yeah, that Road Dogg, I mean, yeah, that New Age Outlaws match at the Rumble definitely is remembered, I feel, but I'm trying to remember what exactly happens after that. Um,
Nothing.
nothing.
Downfall. Wasn't it a downfall
I
from
don't
there?
think I feel like like I
It was
don't
a
think
downfall until we did a
I
Fashion
think
Files.
Oh my God. And Fashion Files was incredible.
right, but I mean like that was years later. Like it was
Yeah.
3 years later, you know what I mean? I think I
Is
don't think
it
they knew what to do with us for a while, and then I think we went to primetime players. Like I remember primetime players getting back together on Raw,
Yeah.
and then fuck, I don't know, because that seemed to last for a long time.
No.
Um,
I had I think I at that point when we did the primetime players, if I'm not mistaken, I looked at you and I said I got Thaddeus duty.
yes, yeah, yeah. You would work
Yeah.
with Titus quite a bit.
I
Yes,
had Titus duty.
yeah. And I'd tussle it up with Fred quite a bit all the time. I mean, it was interesting. I still remember the one time I I actually wish I could find this match because it was on like main event or something, but Laurinaitis was the producer, and it was a sick match. Titus did like an insane comeback at the end that nobody thought he would ever be able to do, and we got him through it. He only almost killed me once, and but other than that, I remember that match was really good because
Yeah.
Laurinaitis was telling Road Dogg, "Wait till you see this fucking match. Wait till you see." You know, we didn't get credit for shit like that. Or like when we were working New Day, actually before, like right as New Day was trying to prove what they were going to become, more or less. Like that's why, like, if you'll see, there's that one Ziggler movie where we're coming out and it's us against New Day, and so that was before they were really doing any of the New Day shit on TV. They were trying it out at house shows and stuff like that, more or less. But like Vince had not bit on any of it yet. But we used to do like the network promos after intermission at the live events and shit with New Day on those tours and stuff at that time. So
Well, I thought it was cool to kind of see a little bit more of that Ascension, like a different side with the Cosmic Wasteland stuff you're doing with
Hmm.
Cody. How does that come about?
I can't remember.
I don't even remember either. I think that was just the writers just threw some drastic shit together at that point, and it just kind of worked out.
Yeah,
Because
because
they
Cody.
probably saw us in face paint. They saw him in face paint.
They
But
put
I do remember Cody as we were sitting in it was a hallway, and he looked at me and he goes, "Look at us now, boys. Look at us now." And I was like, Jesus, like this couldn't have been any worse. And then they always gave me the little card to hold. And I was just like, well, I'm the dumbass. I'm the butt of the joke. But I was like, well, whatever. Like we're getting paid, so it's a good time, whatever. It's Cody. He's awesome, you know.
I
So
mean, the Cosmic Wasteland stuff was fun, and
it was
it
a
kind of
lot
kept
of
us
fun.
active. I think that was. I think it must have just been Cody's doing. I feel like more than anything because that was when they brought the luchas up, and Cody was working with
Lucha
Neville, like
Neville, right?
Pat.
Neville? Did that?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
so I know we did like a cool build up to do a 6 man at one of the pay-per-views, and we did a fun match there.
Yeah.
And then we had a match the next night, which was a fucking stinker on Monday Night Raw. But
Oh,
it was a hilarious stinker. So that was the one.
it could have been no worse than Thaddeus or Titus throwing the fucking guy over the other brother's head, and he missed the whole get the catch.
Yeah, it wasn't that legendary. This one I remember. It was the only time actually like Sin Cara didn't slip too often in our matches, and so
Yeah.
that was the one time on Raw he went to do a springboard in with you, and he just ate shit. Like he fucking jumped up and
Oh,
just
I
right in,
remember. Yeah, and
it
I
was just
started
right in
laughing.
front of you on live
I
TV.
laughed.
Yes, and we all laughed
I
at him
started
and just
laughing
beat
on
the shit
TV.
out of him. Yeah, yeah, that was fun. That was
With
good.
that heavy ass prick, who cares?
Yeah,
He was
yeah,
heavy.
yeah, yeah.
It's like well documented. Cody did not like that Stardust thing, but it seemed like I've heard from other people that he did his most to make it work. Did you guys see that working closely with him?
Dude, yeah. I mean, there's
Yeah.
nobody like I. There's a few people that like. I mean, so if you want to be WWE champion, you you gotta want to work like 24/7, 7 days a week, like always on. And Cody was doing that from long before I'm sure we walked
It
in up
was.
there.
I think when he broke
Yeah,
in the business,
yeah, because I mean that's just how he was.
that's
Like he,
it is. This is his lineage.
yeah, I don't feel like he ever turns off from it whatsoever. And I
Even
mean,
when he
just
got let go, he still was going.
right. I
Yeah,
mean, that's
like he never stopped.
yeah. I mean, it's incredible. Like there's only I feel like him and the Miz are the only two I feel like who have that much nonstop drive to do it. And that's not meaning like that guys like Seth or Roman or what I mean, like those kind of guys don't do that because they all do that same thing. But I mean, there's there's a different level of the guys that you see who never take that. You never see them take a breath to be like, man, I just want to chill and be me
Nope.
for a minute. Like, nah, Cody and Miz, like those are the two guys that even when they're me, they're still in working mode.
Yep.
Like at least whenever I would see them. I mean,
I mean, he bled wrestling. Like he was all
yeah,
about wrestling. Him and
yeah.
TJ and Natty, like they are the biggest like
Hmm.
opponents I've ever seen when it comes to wrestling. They it just you can't no
They
matter
never
where you
stopped
put
watching
them, they
wrestling.
live it.
Yeah.
They live it. That's just who they are.
Hmm.
No, that's awesome. That's really cool. And like I said, the Cosmic Wasteland stuff was fun, but I think the Fashion Files is probably the most universally loved thing in the eyes of the fan that never got really the true credit it deserved. I mean, you guys were part of so many episodes with Breeze and Fandango, who actually just announced, I guess he's retiring
I
come
don't believe that.
2026. I
Nobody
don't
retired.
believe that.
Yeah. I don't believe that.
Nobody
I saw him
retired.
post that. I actually hadn't talked to Dango in a while, and I saw him post that, and I was like, bullshit. Like, I just immediately said that. That's all I said to him, just bullshit. I don't believe that.
It's all bullshit, man. No wrestlers retire. That's just their big comeback run, and they can make more money.
Well, then, I mean, the question's there. How about John Cena? You think that's actually over?
No. Come on, like as if John Cena's never gonna wrestle again.
I mean, come
You
on.
know what I mean? Like maybe, yeah, sure, like not gonna do it for a few years because he's gonna go act, but come on.
Yeah.
Never again. No
Yeah.
way. Come on. John's only 48. He still looks great.
Yes.
Too easy. Yeah, and The Rock will never wrestle again either, right? Like, come on.
Right, right. Well, how do the Fashion Files kind of come to be, and did you guys enjoy them as much as it looked like you were enjoying them?
I remember us doing, I want to say it was one of them where I had to pour, what the hell was that?
Oh, that was the
Syrup
Twin
on a
Peaks
log?
one. That was the Twin Peaks one. That was the second or third one that we did. But that was the one that really took off.
What the hell are we doing?
Yeah, we did. The first one we were in was in London, where
we were in the closet.
Yeah, we were in the closet.
Yes,
like,
I remember that.
all afternoon, just like where they're filming whatever outside.
Sons of
and we
bitches.
just, we're just hitting the walls, banging chains, screaming in the closet. And we were like, yeah, this seems kind of appropriate for what we should be doing at work, I guess. Yeah, but yeah, the Twin Peaks one, I think we did just a couple times after that, and I mean, I'm pretty sure it all came about because the rest of the writers kind of liked us, like they could come up with something goofy for us that kind of worked, and we'd do it. Because like a lot of the times too, we'd wind up doing those um, the holiday skits, the backstage like Thanksgiving
rabbit.
shit,
I posted
or
that. The Halloween, the rabbit, like
right, the rabbit one,
our big
that we
Halloween
had done too. Well, there was one we did one. There was a Thanksgiving one with like us and New Day and Adam Rose and Santino, I think. I might be mixing up a Christmas one we did too. But there was one where somebody had to carry like a big bowl of soup or something. I don't know. And something kept fucking up when we were filming. And so like it eventually got too late that for them to just like film it and air it. So they had to air it live. And like the writers were terrified. And I don't think I'd ever seen Dave Kapoor look so damn nervous before like a segment. And we did it. It was awesome.
Didn't we go live during that? They were like, "Fuck it, we're going live."
Yeah, they said we have no choice. It has to go live now. And we're like, oh, okay, cool. I think they were really worried that somebody was going to like spill the cauldron of like soup or whatever it was. Yeah, but like we always like nailed those, like, and they were fun and easy and stuff. So like we got along with the writers, and I think that was kind of what helped our relationship with that at that point in time, because they were like, here's something that they can finally give these guys, because it was always supposed to be the Bludgeon Brothers that was in it.
Yes, they were who it was supposed to be was the Bludgeon.
Right. Yeah.
And they were like, no, you guys are gonna turn on them. And like we're like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, it was just insane, like some of the things that they talked about. We're like, no, whatever, just keep this thing going because it's over. Vince didn't like it from what I remember, but everybody else was popping to it. Vince was like, I don't get it.
Yeah, he'd be the only one grilling, not laughing.
Come on, man.
Yeah,
it's working.
Eventually got delegated to .com, and then they squashed it from there even. So.
Man, son of a bitch, .com.
So I think I told you, Jonah, last time we were talking about how Breeze had eventually talked to one of the executives about like, hey, did you guys want to do anything for, a full series for .com? And then, Chris Chambers had been like, yes, we've asked for it. And they said that you guys said weren't interested, was what he told them. So I know they did initially then go to Stamford, and they like filmed 3 or 4 like kind of pilot episodes for it. Well, eventually, this was just before actually Breeze and Fandango got released. I know it was that year, because I remember seeing they did a poll of like, hey, which show would you want to see continued on .com? And they put that up with a couple other different ones. Like, I don't even remember what they were. And I remember asking Breeze, like, hey, how did this do? He goes, oh, we won. He's like, there was not even a question. Like, more people watched that and commented on, responded to the Fashion Files than any of the other stuff. And I
Absolutely.
was like,
Yeah.
you know, and I said, so are they going to do anything? He goes, no, there's nothing,
Yeah.
absolutely nothing happening. I was like, well, that's bullshit, you know? Like, and
No,
that was long
and that's
after
so
we had
fun,
been released.
man.
You know,
It's
so.
like the time of our life.
That my personal favorite was the Saw one. I loved that one so much.
Oh
Yeah,
my
The
God.
Saw
yeah, it was
parody.
pretty good.
But yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, the numbers are still, if you look at the numbers they did, I mean, those are impressive.
Mhm.
Absolutely impressive. People love the Fashion Files.
We did a bunch of commercials as the Fashion Files, so a
Yep.
bunch of StubHub commercials and whatnot. So,
I feel like, especially in that time in wrestling, it was one of the only things transcending like just the main roster. Like, it's had people talking about it that might have not been watching main roster
yeah,
product at the time, but it was getting people talking like elsewhere.
yeah. Well, it was weird because when we'd go to Europe, usually they weren't quite caught up on TV. But
Hmm.
for some reason, when we went, I remember after that, they tried to like book us against them in like some weird screwed up like 8-man tag match. And the crowd and us, everybody was confused. And I remember Fit got it switched, and suddenly we were baby faces finally for the first time with, Breezango on a European tour, and everywhere got it. Like there wasn't, like it was so weird because like from doing what we'd always been doing, it's like, well, we always have to win over the audience just to get them invested
Yeah.
most of the time in our match. Let alone like now we're baby faces. Like I still have pictures of us putting Breezango up on our shoulders. You know what I mean? After the matches and stuff like that. So, but that didn't last long. I think
No,
when Vince
we,
saw that we were winning matches after like a week, and he was like, "Hey, switch that shit up."
yeah. Do you remember that? I don't remember which TV it was, but we went there. They have us do the dark matches, baby faces, and Johnny comes up and he's like, "No, you guys are heels." And we're like, are we baby faces or are we heels? Like, what's going on? We're
Yeah,
confused at this point because
yeah,
originally we were booked as baby faces, and now they're telling us we're heels, and then we didn't even work that night.
yeah.
It
I think
was
they
like,
wound up.
what is going on, man?
I remember somebody showed me. We got put in the middle of like there was like a. They'd have like the agents would have a list of like baby faces and heels, and then we were
Yes.
in the middle, and like we were the
Yeah,
only
right.
ones.
It's
Just
like,
like
what
there was
are we?
some
What's going
suddenly
on?
like just a blank category in the middle, and there was Ascension. So it was weird.
That's so wild. It seems like you guys are just put in so many different, just unfair directions during
You have no idea.
I mean, even in NXT when we were tag champions, like I can remember after so long, like when we had very much turned face with the crowd, like Pat Patterson walking back one night and being like, "Oh, I love it! Like you guys are supposed to be heels, but the crowd thinks you are baby faces. It's awesome. I love it."
that.
And like Michael Hayes comes walking up and he's like, "I don't get it. Aren't you guys heels?" We're like, "Yes, yes, Michael, we're heels." So,
Yeah.
but they're cheering for you like you guys are baby faces. And we're like, "Yes, yes, Michael." And at this point, they had been for a while, and we're like, did they just not fucking pay attention to the product like when they're here or something? Like what is going on?
They never did.
Yeah, yeah.
Having time like removed from it now, how do you guys view the legacy of the Ascension overall, like including NXT and everything?
I mean, I don't really. Unfortunately, I don't feel like there's a legacy.
You don't think so? I feel
No,
like
I
it's in a
mean,
lot of fans. I mean, especially with the tag title run, like from what we saw, I guess as fans, not as much as what the behind the scenes stuff that you guys are talking about, but what you guys actually put out there, your body of work.
I'll let you answer. I guess I
Well, I
don't
mean,
know.
I don't really watch a lot now. I'm just kind of like, I don't know. I'm kind of oblivion to a lot of the stuff. The fact that our record's never been broken, it kind of blows my mind. Just because like when Vic and I were tagging, we worked around anything that was wrong. So if Vic's elbow was injured, I would make sure that he was taken care of. If my leg was injured, Vic would make sure that I was taken care of. Like, it was things that we did that elevated us to be what we were. And it's like, I nowadays I don't understand the concept, because it first off, it doesn't seem organic to me, number one. And I haven't paid attention to a lot of tag teams, but the last time I checked, and Vic, you tell me if I'm wrong, but tag teams aren't a thing.
I don't know anymore.
Yeah, I don't know what to say anymore.
I think they are in other places. But I don't know, because I feel like I'm pretty sure I still follow NXT and WWE, and I don't see a lot that they're putting out like that has to do with tag teams much.
Yeah.
Compared to like the other companies seem to have a lot of different, tag championships and whatnot, and focus on tag titles, but I don't, and that's just, I don't watch either. So I mean, like, the only thing I watch is NWA when I'm there. So, and I mean, they do a good focus because they have two different tag titles, I think. So, but I've seen like a lot of good tag teams come in and out there.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's easier when it's a smaller product, to notice. But that's the thing. Like, when I watch social media wise, I don't see the guys that I know, at least. But even from the company, I don't see them putting out a lot that's from the tag team championships. Like, I think at WrestleMania last year, I can remember getting tagged in something that said, oh, whoever was the tag champions for NXT got defeated. So like our streak is still intact.
Yeah.
And like, that's like the last thing I've ever could say I've heard about the NXT tag titles. Like, oh no, sorry. I saw that the Hardys won the NXT tag titles.
Yeah.
My bad.
They only held him for
I did see that. Yeah.
They held him for like 3 or 2 weeks. It was something crazy. I mean, it's just part of the TNA like crossover, but yeah.
Right. So yeah, but I mean, like, that's been it.
Yeah.
And even then, I feel like I saw that because I follow Matt. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if I saw that because of anything else type of thing. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know how fans look at it, because I don't feel like, I don't know. I don't feel like
thing, right? Like, it's tag teams don't work like a team. They don't. They just don't.
Yeah.
Bottom line, it's just different. It's like watching two individuals now.
Right. I mean, I'd say like Kofi and Woods have probably got to still be one of the longest running guys around. Or like, I don't know if the Viking Raiders are still.
I was gonna say
like,
Viking
those guys,
Raiders.
They've been teaming for a while. But I mean, Kofi and Woods have got to have been probably the longest running guys that have been teaming at this point in time that I can think of, honestly. And I mean, yeah, still, it's weird how it's not, I don't know, more of a focus. But like, so WWE, we know this, they're more individualized by far. Like, they're more interested in having like two top stars team up. You know what I mean? To be a tag team on a couple nights or for a storyline, they are kind of to invest in a tag team. Like, that's how it always felt like when we were on the main roster anyway. So at least I think that was how it used to get presented to us, that Vince would look at that kind of thing.
I just feel like tag teams were irrelevant.
Yeah. No, I did. I mean, it was looking back to Ascension time. Like, you guys had like tag team turmoil and all the, like, it felt like shows were sometimes dedicated to tag teams. Yeah, I don't remember that. I know that I think Kofi and Woods and the Viking Raiders had a match at this past WrestleMania, if not mistaken. And I know people were upset because it was like a 6 minute type of thing. Like, it wasn't like dedicated, but
well, I used to joke and say, like, when we finally got to the main roster, So that was when, and this is, I don't mean this as a slight at all, but when the women's wrestling movement took off and they weren't really looked at as divas anymore. So they no longer had the like 2 minute diva match that they used to run in and out for like a bra and panties match. And that was the spot that they then gave to the tag teams.
Mm.
And then they, the women's matches actually got a lot of
That,
attention
that's
to have actual matches.
I
So,
agree with that. Like
so
that's the best way you could put it. Like we were the divas.
yeah, yeah.
There was no
Like,
gifts given for the tag teams.
yeah, because it seemed to immediately switch like as that happened.
Yep.
So
I think that was tough too. Like I always, as you know, Vic, like I always looked at the glass as half full. I was always like, no, it's good, it's fine. But when I look back at it now, I'm like, no, it wasn't. It wasn't fine. Like I like it just when I look at these things, I'm like, man, it was the shits sometimes. Situations that we were put in, it was the shits.
yeah,
But
we
we
always got put in.
tried to make the best of everything that we went through.
Yeah, we had a lot of really weird, shitty spots for stuff.
Yeah.
I've forgotten about them a lot of the times, and then like something will come back, and I'm like, oh yeah, that day was really weird. What the fuck was that all about?
Yeah.
And it was just stuff that like I don't know if we were tested and like failed. You know what I mean? Like weird
I don't think we felt, I
backstage
don't even think
things,
yes, I
or
think they at that time they just didn't know.
yeah, yeah.
We didn't. That's the sad part. We didn't know either. Like, we're
Right,
just like we
right.
came up to be guided a little bit, and there was no guidance.
No, no.
You
I mean,
remember Ascension 2.0? Nobody
yes,
knows about that.
yeah, yeah. Because we had pitched a gimmick change, and that was just kind of us being bullies, and so we'd kind of put a little package together and taken some pictures, and that was at the time of the Fashion Files stuff. But yeah, we just did that kind of thinking like, hey, maybe we could spin off what we've been doing on the Fashion Files into like characters without the face paint and stuff like that. It's kind of like I think we were wearing all like denim and
Jean
stuff like that.
jackets, all that crazy, like who we
Wow.
are.
Yeah,
And the big debut was we were supposed to lose.
Oh,
yeah. We randomly got called to a pay-per-view. We weren't supposed to be at a pay-per-view, and then all of a sudden we got called to the pay-per-view and brought to the pay-per-view. And we're like, what the fuck's going on? And
Yeah.
I remember we walked out and looked at the Titantron and it said Ascension 2.0. And it was like, I don't know, clouds or something behind it. Like it looked all American or
I
something.
remember Usos were excited for us. They're just like, man, this is great. I'm like, no, it's really not.
Yeah, we're like,
It's
like, we don't have
losing, bro.
yeah.
we
Big
don't
2.0 debut, we're getting squashed.
yeah. And then that was what was supposed to happen. I'll never forget. We were talking to Michael Hayes on the ramp. Like, Michael, does any of this sound right to you, or like this is what any of us should be doing? No, no, man. This sounds fucked up. So, all right, guys, I'll be back. He went and talked to whoever he needed to talk to, and he came back like, I don't know, not too much long later. He was like, yeah, guys, fucking scrap this shit. We ain't doing that. What the fuck?
Yeah.
You guys can figure this shit out. I don't know. This is all fucked up.
I could talk to you guys for so long here in this journey. It's so interesting. I don't want to take up too much more of your time, though. I mean, you've been so gracious. Thank you for being here to make this happen. This is an awesome reunion to see. Final question. I mean, we said never say never. Is there any chance of, I guess, the awakening getting back together? I know you've taken your careers kind of in different directions, but anything down the road that we could ever see?
To like actually work out again or something to wrestle.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll do the awakening thing, but the ascension thing, like I would always be open to it because, as long as me and Vic have creative control and we can do what the hell we want to do, which means that's probably never going to happen. Like, I mean, I would be more than open because I will firmly say that we were, if not one of the best tag teams. And it wasn't just what we did, but it was a psychology of what we did. And it was, Vic was the technician, bottom line. Like, he is a master art. Like I was saying earlier today in an interview I did, I told them about Vic, and I was like, this guy was the last from the dungeon, and he was superb at what he did. And I would never, it's like in wrestling, you never say never.
Right.
But in the right positions and the right people, I think, and I could be wrong, but I think that Vic and I would come back. And if the money is good, more importantly,
then definitely. Yeah. That'd be awesome.
Yes.
Yeah, it's one of those things I've just never figured out. I don't know, like what, I don't know. It seemed like we were always cursed, like right afterwards, like nothing would ever come to fruition that we had going that would have been something cool. You know what I mean? Like we're like the guys that have had like all the opportunities that got fucked up for reasons beyond our control, like a lot of the times. And it's like, what the hell?
But
like
we still hold the record.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? We still hold the fucking record. That's the crazy part about it.
Right.
That's what matters. And that's a great way to end it, guys. Thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Thanks, Jonah. Thanks for having us.
Yep. Thank you, Jonah.
Rewind, recap, relive. Whoa! That's what the world is watching.